The Hayes family manor was steeped in a chilling formality, its sprawling halls echoing the perpetual solitude of its occupants. Mr. Jonathan Hayes, the Patriarch, a 60-year-old man hardened by success and tragedy, carried the weight of a life rigidly controlled. Beneath his exterior of quiet authority lay a spirit starved by a decade of widowhood. His son, Michael, an acclaimed architect, was generous with material comforts but emotionally detached from his wife, Clara. Michael valued Clara more as a symbol of his achievement than as a partner demanding depth and passion. Clara, radiant and intelligent, arrived with hopes of a deep connection, only to find herself adrift in a sea of sterile respect. Her husband's prolonged absences and intellectual distance left her soul aching for a resonance she could not name. Her dangerous solace arrived in the form of Jonathan Hayes. Their bond began innocently, over the cultivation of his prized orchids and ancient bonsai trees. As Hayes imparted the secrets of enduring life and careful tending, he simultaneously, and involuntarily, revealed the deep well of suppressed emotion within him. Clara found herself drawn to his gravitational pull, the immense presence and wisdom he carried, a stark, powerful contrast to Michael's youthful restlessness. One humid afternoon, while examining a delicate sapling, their hands inadvertently brushed. Hayes was guiding her grip on the pruning shears, his large, calloused hand engulfing her small one. It was a fleeting contact, but it charged the air between them. Clara felt a jolt, a sudden recognition of latent, disciplined power. She saw the tremor that ran through Hayes's arm, a slight lapse in his iron control. "Patience is a weapon, Clara," Hayes murmured, his voice a low, gravelly sound that resonated deep within her chest. "But sometimes, a swift cut is required to unleash new growth." Clara looked up, her breath catching. The look in his eyes was no longer paternal, it was hungry, searching, recognizing the shared, escalating tension. She saw her own desperate need reflected in his seasoned gaze. The forbidden attraction was born not of lust, but of absolute spiritual and physical comprehension. He saw the woman Michael ignored, she saw the man Michael could never be. Their relationship accelerated into a feverish, secret indulgence. Clara felt an overwhelming compulsion to be near her father-in-law, a craving that transcended mere affection. Hayes, in turn, found himself utterly intoxicated by Clara's vitality, which shattered the gray shell he had lived in for years. The automated, climate-controlled glass house, filled with the heady scent of exotic blooms, became their clandestine haven when Michael was away. Here, under the watchful silence of the orchids, they dropped their titles. Clara was simply his, and Hayes was her captor and confidant. Their whispered conversations were fraught with double meanings, escalating from philosophical musings to thinly veiled declarations of desire. One evening, a violent thunderstorm raged outside. Hayes found Clara standing near a bench, her shoulders hunched. He didn't speak. Instead, he simply reached out and ran his fingertips along the exposed skin of her arm, a gesture of profound, consuming possession. His touch was slow, intentional, tracing the path from her elbow to her shoulder, a sensual exploration that promised more than it delivered. "You look cold, Clara," Hayes finally said, his breath warm against her ear, his voice barely audible above the drumming rain. "I am burning, Hayes," she confessed, unable to move, trapped by the intensity of his presence. "Burning with something I cannot extinguish." His hand stopped, resting heavily on her shoulder, anchoring her. "Then let it consume us. Let the fire cleanse the guilt." He turned her gently to face him. His eyes, usually so controlled, were ablaze. "You think I don't know what you want?" What you crave? I have lived a lifetime suppressing it, but you are the crack in my foundation. He closed the distance, his kiss not gentle, but demanding, the long-suppressed release of years of solitude and the desperate, sudden fulfillment of months of craving. It was a kiss that sealed their pact of sin, a terrifying, beautiful moment where social boundaries dissolved completely. Their intimacy became their drug. It was a chaotic, fervent claiming, a primal act of connection that defied the roles of father and daughter, in-law and spouse. Hayes's mastery and depth provided a release and validation that Clara had yearned for. In his arms, the guilt was momentarily drowned by a torrent of forbidden ecstasy, cementing their status as two willing, devoted sinners. Michael's professional crises intensified, consuming his focus and conveniently lengthening his absences. This constant stress only provided more cover, and more opportunities, for Hayes and Clara to deepen their shared transgression. The tension, the risk of discovery, only heightened the stakes of their physical meetings. The library, with its leather-bound volumes and scent of aged tobacco, became their second, even more dangerous, refuge. Discussions about corporate finance quickly devolved into declarations of dependence. "You are my heir, Clara," Hayes would confess, his voice husky with raw need. "I am past the point of regret. I chose this, and I will defend it. You are the final, most precious thing I will ever claim." Clara responded with equal conviction, "I belong to you, Hayes. Michael owns my name, but you own my soul and my body. I hate the lie, but I live for the truth we create in these moments." Their stolen moments evolved into brief, frantic bursts of passion, fueled by the imminent threat of exposure. When they closed the door, the world outside ceased to exist. Their connection was less about tenderness and more about a possessive, absolute claiming. Their intimacy was a silent, desperate scream against the propriety that bound them, a ritual of liberation that left them both breathless and utterly dependent on the next forbidden encounter. The more Michael neglected his wife, the more Hayes solidified his position as the only true man in Clara's life, creating an emotional landscape where her guilt was manageable, overshadowed by the overwhelming power of her desire. The carefully constructed illusion began to fray. Michael, exhausted and paranoid from work, started noticing the subtle cues, the shared silence that was too heavy, the fleeting but profound eye contact, and the instinctive physical awareness between his wife and his father. One humid evening, Michael returned home unannounced. He found the door to Hayes's private lounge, which contained an adjoining private bedroom, locked from the inside. The sight was instantly damning. Michael hammered on the heavy oak door, his voice hoarse with panicked rage. "Father! Clara! Open this door now!" A muffled commotion erupted inside, followed by a terrifying, heavy silence. After what felt like an eternity, Hayes unlocked the door and stood in the frame. He wore only a silk robe, his hair disheveled, his composure gone. Behind him, Clara stood against the wall, her clothes hastily adjusted, her face a mask of shame and defiant release. The truth was a physical force, striking Michael. He didn't need a confirmation. Hayes's exhausted eyes, Clara's mixture of terror and fierce loyalty, painted the horrific picture. Michael stumbled back, his eyes narrowing into slits of pure agony. You have tainted everything. The house, the family, the name. How long?" Hayes stepped forward, shielding Clara, confirming his role as her protector. "Michael, listen to me. This is my responsibility. This relationship. I initiated it." Michael let out a broken, hysterical laugh. Responsibility? You loved my wife. She loved you. Did you share her? Did you laugh at my absence? Clara pushed past Hayes, her final reserves of composure dissolving into bitter honesty. She met Michael's gaze without flinching. I don't regret loving him, Michael. He saw me. He claimed me. You had my hand, he claimed everything else. I owe you an apology for the deceit, but I owe him my devotion. Her stark declaration was the final blow. Michael's world shattered, the foundations of his life collapsing in one catastrophic instant. That night, Michael vanished from the house, leaving behind a signed divorce petition. He disowned his father and severed all ties, unable to forgive the ultimate betrayal. The ensuing scandal was the death knell for the Hayes dynasty. Jonathan Hayes resigned, liquidated his remaining public assets, and willingly transferred control of the family estate to Michael, his final act as a father, buying his freedom as a lover. Hayes and Clara, now officially divorced from Michael, retreated to a remote coastal town, accepting their fate as pariahs. They found a profound, isolating peace together. Their relationship, no longer hampered by secrecy, remained intensely passionate, but it was perpetually shadowed by the ghost of their destroyed family. Every embrace was a reminder of Michael's pain, every stolen moment of happiness was paid for by the loss of their former lives. 5 years passed. They cultivated a garden, finding solace in simple, tangible things. Their love had matured from a feverish addiction into an enduring, possessive bond. One mild morning, Clara found a heavy linen envelope left discreetly on their porch. Inside was Michael's wedding announcement. He had rebuilt his life, finding peace with another woman whose smile seemed free of history. Clara wept, realizing that the man she had betrayed had finally found his freedom. Hayes held her, his grip tight, reaffirming his claim. Are you sorry? Clara whispered against his chest. Never for choosing you, Hayes replied, his voice firm. I regret the wound we inflicted, but not the act that brought us together. We chose the legacy of desire, and this isolation is the price. A price I would pay 1,000 times over. They embraced, two outcasts bound by an unbreakable, ruinous truth. Their love was real, overwhelming, and utterly devastating, a dark, beautiful bloom rooted in the fertile soil of betrayal.